Alright, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to a brand new video. Having a fantastic day. My name is Rose here, and now today's video is going to be huge for me because this is something that I want to change my channel to, or not change it all the way. I will still, have Fortnite gameplay and everything like that, but I really love doing theories. As you can tell from the title of this video, theories are so fun to do. They go deeper into what the game story actually is. If you don't watch the game theories, I highly recommend you do. They have like millions of subscribers, so there has to be at least one of you that watch them. They're so amazing. They go into such detail. They go into the sciences and math and everything like that about certain theories in the game, and it's just so incredibly fun to make. And I really want to try doing that, and today's video is going to be one of the, this will be the third one that I've made. My first two have done incredibly well, which is why I really like doing these, or, for another reason I like doing these. They do so much better on my channel, and people seem to, like them. My last theory ended up true, which is incredible, because I didn't see anybody else do a theory on that, even afterwards. So what today's theory is going to be what's going to happen in Season 8. Now, obviously you could tell from the title, it's going to be medieval times. I don't know how I'm going to title this, but this theory I ended up finding on Reddit, and so I'm going to give all the credit to this person. This person's name is Lethal Snow Meme. If I say he or if I say she this entire time, I apologize. I'm not going to correct myself if I say one of the two. It's just, it's common to give a certain person that a certain gender. I don't want to say it, and I don't want to say this person. It just seems too long. But anyways, what I'm going to do is read this whole thing straight through. I'll put a timestamp if you don't want to read this, or if you don't want to listen to me read it, and you guys can go read it. I'll leave it in the description, hopefully, if I remember. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get straight into this. I'm not going to talk too much. So, starting off, this person says, or he, we're only 3 weeks into Season 7 at the time of this being written, and yet I think the Season 8 theme might already be predicted. The medieval times. Back in Season 2, we were introduced to 4 knights, the Royal Knight, Blue Squire, Red Knight, and Black Knight. Most cosmetics in the Battle Pass involved them as well, and I hope you all know what time period knights were most common in. Remember what Season 2's map was like? It was covered in snow. Now we venture towards Season 4, where the plot pointed towards two sides. Carbide and the hero base representing good, and Omega and the villain layer representing bad. Keep in mind that they're on opposite ends of the map. Why I'm referencing them will be explained later. In Season 6, we received a giant castle atop the mountain near Haunted Hills. Nothing else has happened to it besides decay, for now. And we finally arrived to Season 7, where we're back to a snow-covered-ish map. There's another castle too. We received a buttload of new skins, but 2 have caught my attention. The Tier 100 Battle Pass skin, Ice King, and the new Elsa bootleg, Glimmer. The Ice King obviously being a king, Glimmer being a princess, and both being royalty. When you think of modern royalty, you think of Queen Elizabeth and the United Kingdom, which is part of Europe. It might be a coincidence, but medieval times 99.9% of the time talk about Europe. And for my last bits of evidence before I wrap things up. Number 1. There's a giant statue near Rolling Woods that's been moving around. Back in the medieval day, moving statues had a name, it being golems. Coincidence? Heck no. There are dragon eggs slowly being revealed from the thawing glacier. They may have been fossilized for a while, so that means that the other things may have been fossilized as well. And also, Ragnarok's female variant was released 2 seasons ago with an ice dragon glider, so there may be a connection. The new Frozen Legends pack has an iced red knight along with 2 other ice skins, which helps back up my theory a bit. So what I think is going to happen is very simple. We have 4 locations pointed out here, being the Ice Castle, the Haunted Castle, Villain Lair, and Hero Base. Each location will be claimed as a territory by its corresponding skin. The Ice King will claim the Ice Castle, whoops, I almost made that really bad. Will claim the Ice Castle because ice. The Royal Knight, or Blue Squire, will claim the Hero Base because they have the blue that Carbide has, and blue always equals good. The Red Knight will take the Haunted Castle mainly because of the loading screen of it at Haunted and how its eyes look like a ghost-possessed person. The Black Knight will take the Villain Lair because it has the same color scheme that Omega has, mostly black with hints of red, and the fact that it looks evil. Maybe each castle will have flags and banners representing its leader. I don't know what will happen with the iceberg's water and all, but the map might flood. Who knows? So as I said at the beginning of this video, I'm going to be touching up on some of the stuff that this person said. Now, that does not mean that I'm going to be switching everything that this person says. No. What I mean by touch up is I'm going to be telling you guys what I agree with and what I disagree with. So first off, I'm going to start off with what I disagree with, because there's really only one thing that I do disagree with, or don't quite understand the concept of it, which is the locations corresponding with certain skins, or vice versa, or whatever. The Ice Castle is really the only one that 100% makes sense. Obviously, the Ice King is, in the same time that we got the new Ice Castle. And, it's an Ice King, there's an Ice Castle, 2 and 2 together. It's kind of simple. The Red Knight, however, makes a little bit of sense. It's very random that they put the Red Knight on a, little picture with the background being the haunted hills and everything. It's very random. We did get it a little while back, if I remember correctly, if I'm thinking of the right one. And it's very random that they put those two together. So, although it's random, there is some sort of correspondence, if that's a word, with Red Knight and Haunted Hills. They have corresponding things a little while back, but they did end up together for some odd reason. And now, they wouldn't just randomly do this. Obviously, they had Drift and Bright Bomber in Lazy Links with that one loading screen, but that really didn't mean anything. They were having fun on a golf cart, but they did end up turning and stuff like that. That's another theory that I'm going to be talking about. It's been talked about, but I just love it. It's interesting. That'll be another video. Anyways, but for the Royal Knight or Blue Squire and the Black Knight, those don't make too much sense. Okay, let me rephrase that. It makes sense, but it's not understandable why that would end up being, the reason. All this person has evidence is the color. The color is not a huge deal. I understand blue meaning good, and red, red goes with blood and stuff like that, so that kind of means evil. But if I'm not mistaken, there is no actual, color correspondence with certain things in this game at all. I don't remember them ever doing that. If that is, the thing with this, then that would mean, let's say, for example, you would put Fate in the villain layer because it has black on it, and black means evil or something like that. It's too simple of a reasoning for Epic to put these skins into those corresponding areas. It's just color. It doesn't mean anything at all. I do understand, since they are knights, they would have those areas. But another thing is, this is medieval times, and these are knights. The hero layer and the villain layer have holograms and stuff like that. It's way too futuristic for medieval times for knights and stuff like that to use that kind of stuff. Epic could change the areas around and make them more medieval, but it doesn't seem like something Epic would do because they've been around for so long. I would think they keep it there, but, they had Moisty Mire for like 3 seasons, and then they took it out. So, they could do it, but it's a very low possibility. Okay, guys, real quick, I know this is random in the middle of this, but this audio that you're hearing right now, there originally was a part where I talked right here, but it ended up deleting for some odd reason. So you're going to hear me start this next sequence of me talking as if I mentioned the list prior to whatever I was talking about next. Just ignore it. I don't know what I lost. I completely forgot what I talked about, but I'm pretty sure it was just mentioning what I was going to talk about next. It wasn't too important. It should have been relatively short, because when I got back on here, after I finished recording, I went to go play, and I came back. It gave me an error, told me something was missing, and it was messed up or whatever. So this next part, just act like I didn't say anything. It should still fit in with the rest of the video, but I'm not entirely sure. If it doesn't, I'll watch it back and stuff, but it should. Anyways, this is, future me. I already recorded the rest of this, so here you guys go. I'm going to let y'all go on with the rest of the video. Now, I say list as in those 3 things that I ended up mentioning, but before I talk about that little list, I want to mention the thing that this person said. It might be a coincidence, but medieval times 99.9% of the time talk about Europe. Now, that is, if I remember correctly, and if I remember everything that I learned in history, that is pretty much very true, because, America didn't really have too much except, like, Native Americans and everything like that, if I remember correctly, so excuse my knowledge of, world history, but if I remember correctly, all we had was Native Americans. There wasn't too much stuff that was going on here in America, and at this time, everything was going on in Europe, and everything that America is today pretty much kind of came from Europe. Again, excuse me on that. I'm not 100%, but just stick with me here. But that does make a lot of sense because Europe was pretty much the main place that everything started. Where this entire world order and crap, all this stuff. I don't even know what I'm talking about when it comes to history, but I think you guys get what I mean. Medieval times mainly was focused at around Europe and everything like that. So if you guys know history, then you know if what I'm talking about is facts or not. But anyways, for the first thing that's on the list, this person says, there's a giant statue near Whirling Woods that's been moving around. Back in the medieval day, moving statues had a name, it being golems. Coincidence? Heck no. I really don't believe that that's a coincidence at all. That is a very, very odd statue to put in such a very open location and very unpopular location as well. Nobody even goes Whirling Woods. Why would you put a statue that's not even in Whirling Woods? It's right outside of it that nobody goes to. It's literally just a cabin. The most important part of that place is the bridge next to Tomato. That's the only time people ever get close to where that statue is and where that vicinity, originally was. Now, people actually go over there because, the statue gives you a crap ton of brick if you break the whole thing down. It has a little chest there, and then it has all the little rocks around it. Those have been there, but, like I said, those rocks, those little boulders have been there. That statue had not, and now that little spot is very useful to most players. If you're not before, the only time you would ever, sorry if I'm like stuttering stuff, I'm like, this part of the theory gets me really hyped because I didn't understand why that thing was there at all, and now that this person says, this stuff, it makes so much sense to me, and that little statue pissed me off because I had no clue what it was there. It's the random ass gorilla. And anyways, back to what I was saying, that it didn't make any sense why they would put that there. The only time you would go through there is if you're running from the block or what used to be Risky Wheels. Sorry, still a little stuffy and stuff. But the only time you would go through there is if you're going to the circle from Risky Wheels or what's now known as the block, or the closest you would get to there is going to that bridge from Tomato. If you want to get that little chest that's there, get whatever loots that are around there, and then also I think there's an ammo box there as well. So if you want to get that stuff, that's usually how close people would get to it. But people wouldn't usually just randomly go to that cabin unless they wanted to find a med kit because they were in the storm. That's really all I could think of, and this theory helps back that up. Helps back up the statue because that was so randomly placed and nobody even knew what it really was and what the point of it being there was. It's at Welling. Nobody goes there unless it's for a challenge. But anyways, I get into that. I'm sorry. That's probably the longest part that's gonna be in this video besides reading it off. It's just that statue is so weird and I'd never understood it. But with this theory, it just makes so much more sense. But anyways, the second one, there are dragon eggs slowly being revealed from the thawing glacier. They may have been fossilized for a while, so that means that the other things may have been fossilized as well. So what this person, if you like, at first when I was trying to do this video, I didn't agree on that part, but then I read it to myself again, and when you hear it, they may have been fossilized for a while. Dragons would have, in movies, I think they have dragons with medieval times, with humans and everything like that. But in reality, I don't believe that they would have dragons, or like dragons existed with humans if they were even real, fiction-wise, let's just go with that. And these dragon eggs are so random, but they fit so well because when you think about it, if they are fossilized, then they can't hatch anymore. But the thing is, the ice usually freezes things to the point where it's not alive and stuff. That's why you freeze meat so it stays good. But sorry if I sound dumb explaining this, but if the eggs were there before and as soon as it got cold, the eggs ended up appearing. As soon as it got cold and everything and they froze, that means that there is a chance that they might still be alive and they might be able to hatch. Now, I could be wrong considering they are eggs, but fiction-wise, they probably could end up hatching and we might end up seeing dragons and things like that. But either way, just going with what this person said, besides the dragon thing, if they are fossilized for a while and dragons were before medieval times, that would mean that the dragon eggs ended up fossilizing and are now, being thawed out during the medieval times, because it's very hot and everything like that during this, and obviously there's seasons and stuff, but like just going with fiction wise more, you don't really see medieval movies with snow and stuff. So if you go with that, the dragon eggs would end up existing to this point in time, and it ended up thawing out. So that's really all I had to say about that. I want to make a video about that too, because that's so cool. But the last thing that there is to talk about is the new Frozen Legends pack has an iced red knight along with 2 other skins. Now, simply put, they just randomly brought in the red knights with the Frozen Legend pack. Now, that is a very coincidental timing, considering that was medieval times, but they brought it back frozen at the same time that there was snow. Obviously, they brought back the other 2 skins, and technically it would be coincidental for them to come back at snow times as well. But with this theory, if you consider this theory true, then it is very coincidental that they brought the Red Knight at the same exact time. That's really all there is to say about that. It's a huge coincidence. They brought back skins multiple times. That's why everybody's starting to hate Fortnite, because the OGs are losing, their OGness. And I'm sorry if I just made everybody cringe, but it's very random that they brought the Red Knights specifically into the Frozen Legends pack. So this theory is incredibly huge. I love it. I'm sorry I went so hard when I was talking about the golem, but that was such a huge piece of evidence to what we might be seeing in season 8. Obviously, all of it is a huge piece to what we might be seeing, but that little piece really got me hyped, because it's so not coincidental. Sorry, I keep saying that, but it just makes so much more sense as to why that's there. And considering it was so random, this theory makes it not random at all when you think about it, if it's true. If it's not, then it's just obviously completely random. But anyways, I think that's all I'm gonna say about that. You guys can look into this later on if there's anything more to this person's story, or theory that he typed and everything like that. I'll leave it in the description so you guys can go read it. If there's anything else this person leaves on it, then I will more than likely make a follow-up video, or if they end up coming out with some more stuff that helps back up this person's theory, I might just help this person back it up, even though this person might not see this or anything like that, or know who I am and what I'm doing with this person's theory. Then either way, I'm going to say that I'm helping this person out. I'm going to be adding on to what this person said and trying to back up this theory a lot more, and hopefully make it seem like it's more than likely almost 100% going to happen for season 8. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm probably going to make another... if this video does very well, I'm going to try making another theory that's my own theory, and I'm still trying to get a little bit of, evidence and everything like that. Hopefully this video does good so I can do that, because I really want to do it, because I'm hyped. It's my own theory. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, and if you don't mind, click that subscribe button. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.